We're back with Giants Access Blue, Legacy Edition. The early 1970s ushered in a new era of ferocious defensive players for the Giants, led by number 64 defensive tackle John Mendenhall out of Grambling University.
I was drafted in, 71? Third round. Never forget it, As a rookie, I became a starter. I played defensive tackle for a little while in the game. Then most of the time on passing downs, I was a defensive end. But that's how I think why I got drafted, because I was a pass rusher.
In 1973, the Giants would draft a talented linebacker out of Michigan State in the second round of the draft, and Brad Van Pelt would go on to terrorize opposing offenses en route to becoming the Giants' Player of the Decade in the 70s.
Brad is a player who was naturally gifted. His play on the football field was something that was, I think, special. Super player. I mean, he went to, I think, 5 or 6 Pro Bowls, and he really should be mentioned for the Hall of Fame at some point.
Complementing Van Pelt was fellow linebacker Brian Kelly, who the Giants also added to the squad in 73.
That was the years of Brad Van Pelt, Brian Kelly. All of those guys were what we call building blocks. They were the foundation of good, solid defense.
Although the Giants would struggle through some lean years, the defense would steadily grow stronger throughout the decade. And in the 11th round of the 1975 draft, they would select George Martin, an unheralded defensive end. In the very next year, the team would move into their new home, Giants Stadium, and they would bolster their defensive roster even more by drafting Harry Carson in the 1976 draft.
When I came to the Giants, and Marty Schottenheimer really was the one who drafted me, and that was because they wanted to convert me from being a down defensive lineman to a stand-up middle linebacker, and I had never played middle linebacker before. The middle linebacker position is not one that just anybody can play. You really have to have a certain mindset to play the game, not just from an intellectual standpoint, but also from a physical standpoint, because you have to be rough and you have to be able to flip that switch. And I eased into it, was able to master the position. I made the all-rookie team.
Harry was just absolutely blood and guts and just total domination. Dick Vermeil had said that he can't tell you what the prototypical middle linebacker would look like, but he knows that middle linebacker has to wear number 53. I thought that he was probably the best middle linebacker that ever put on the uniform.
In 1981, the Giants changed the fate of their franchise forever by drafting Lawrence Taylor out of North Carolina. LT would make an immediate impact, taking the league by storm and terrorizing opposing offenses.
Once we got into the season, and I could see just how effective he was in rushing the quarterback and the quickness and the speed and so forth, and how he just changed the game. Then I recognized that we had something really special.
Lawrence would be named Defensive Rookie of the Year, and he would form a special bond with then Giants defensive coordinator Bill Parcells.
Wow, it's my guy, we came together, an assistant, and he was a young draft choice and catalytic player, dynamic, easy to coach. That was the great thing about Lawrence. You teach him something, he can take it right with him. Your job when you get a player like that is to let the talent flourish.
Be more aggressive on that special now. They'll come back with that. That slant counter there?
Yeah.
Kick it over.
I want to show how to play that.
Yeah.
Kick it. Go, Lawrence. Kick it over.
Yeah.
He was just greatness personified. I mean, this guy did things that we'd never imagined could be done. I mean, his speed, catching a running back, a quality all-pro running back from the backside, his power, running over 300-pound offensive linemen as if though they were figurines, intimidating quarterbacks to the point where, they wouldn't call signals until they found out where it was 56. He rewrote the entire book, and this guy never let up.
Teaming up with Brad Van Pelt, Brian Kelly, and Harry Carson, they formed one of the most ferocious linebacking corps the league has ever seen.
Brad, Brian, Lawrence, and myself, we were the crunch bunch, and we were big, strong, fast, and we were able to get after people. Lawrence was on one side, Brad was on the other side. Brian was next to me, and you just felt like you could just smack people around. When the offense broke the huddle, and you could see the fear in their eyes, I'd never been a part of a group that demanded so much respect than that group, especially those linebackers.
Stay tuned for more Giants Access Blue, Legacy Edition.